Hey guys, welcome to this Droptop trial setup video. In this video, we're going to help you guys set up your trial. It's pretty straightforward. There's 5 key steps we're going to take to set you up. The first step, we're going to set up your operation settings. Then we're going to set your services. Then we're going to set your packages. Fourth, we'll set your inspections. And lastly, we'll load your inventory. So there's 5 key steps. We're going to start off in step 1 by setting up your operation settings. Okay, so first things first, if you are not selected on a shop and you see a flashing thing in the middle of your screen here, you can select your shop in the top right hand corner. If you have multiple locations, you can choose which operation you're working out of. If you only have one, you can just select the one. Okay, so step 1 is we're going to set up your operation settings. So to do that, we're going to go to the left hand navigation here. You'll see in the bottom left hand corner, you can click this little triangle. That'll pop out the menu for you. And we're going to go to Operations Setup. After we've clicked there, you're going to see your operations. If you only have one, you'll just see one. And we're going to go to Operations Settings. Inside Operations Settings, you're going to see all of your basic configurations. So you should see your shop name, address, country, region. All of this basic information should already be accurate, but if anything's not accurate, feel free to edit it, make any necessary change, and then click Save afterwards. If we scroll down a bit further, next you're going to want to set your distance measurement. So are you operating in miles or kilometers? Your volume measurement, are you operating in liters or quarts? And your bays, how many bays does your shop have? Or if you're a mobile operation, you can just set 1. Next is your currency. You can identify Canadian or US. And you can also identify if you're a physical shop or a mobile service. Okay, next we're going to talk about taxes a little bit. So every region, every city, state, country is a bit different. Here you can set your taxes. So the first thing you're going to want to do is edit. You can then name your tax whatever it is, whether it's a state tax or a city tax. You can hit save on the naming. And then you can edit the actual percentage. So you can change this to whatever your actual percentage should be. Now, if you have 2 taxes, you can save the first one, then go down to the second one, add another tax. We can call this one tax 2 as an example. And then again, we're going to go and edit the percentage, and we'll say 2% in this case. And you would leave that as is. I'm going to delete that for now because I don't want it here. Okay. After you're finished with your taxes, you can scroll a bit further. Here you'll see a work order signature section. Whatever you type into this field, we just hit edit and modify the text. That's going to show up on all your invoices that go to your customers. If you want to, you can hide the signature section on your invoice, so you'll see what that looks like later on. And again, you can always come back to this page to make any modifications later on. I'm going to skip a few of these things for now. You can also upload your logo right here, and this logo would show up on your invoices. The next step is to identify if you want to use Carfax. So if you'd like to use the Carfax feature, which we'll talk a bit more about later on, this is where you would enable it. After that, you can set up your QuickBooks integration, and if you want to use our payment processing, you can also integrate that here as well. And we'll have separate videos that go into that in detail, but for now, at least you know where all the settings are. Okay, that's step 1. Next, in step 2, we're going to set your services. So to find the services tab, we're going to go to Operation Setup again. And in the top here, you're going to see your different tabs. We're going to go to Services next. Now, what we're doing on this step is basically telling the system which services your shop offers. That's it. So you can see here, here's a list of services that I currently offer at my shop. When you show up here, you're probably not going to see all these. So I'll show you how to add additional services. I'm going to click Add Services. Here you're going to see a preset list when you start to search. So I'm going to search for cabin air filter. As I start searching cabin, you're going to see the different services and inspections. Now here, I don't want to select my inspections. I just want to select the services I offer. So for example, I'll select cabin air filter remove and replace, and I'm going to click Save. By doing that, you'll see here that I've added cabin air filter remove and replace. Now, if you don't find a service that you want to offer, that's okay. You can create custom services as well. So I recommend definitely go into here, search for your services with generic terms first. The basic things like oil changes, your cabin air filters, your engine air filters, all that kind of stuff will be in here. But what if you have something that's not there? So for example, let's do windshield repair. So you'll see here, as I start typing windshield, there are some services for windshields, but I don't have a chip repair. So if I wanted to do chip repair, you'll see nothing comes up. If I wanted to add a service for that now, I can now add a custom service. So I'm going to click here, custom service. These are a few of my other custom services, but I want to make a new custom service. So I'm going to scroll a bit further down and I'm going to do windshield chip repair. Oops. And hit save. You'll see now under custom services, I have windshield chip repair. Okay, so I recommend definitely use the default services when you can. And the reason that's really important is because these default services are linked to the correct part type for that service. So the system knows that when I'm going to do a cabin air filter remove and replace, it knows to show me all of my cabin air filters so that I can select the right part to use. If the service doesn't exist, that's okay. Go ahead and create a custom inspection, and I'll show you later on how you can manually link those part types if you need to. But the system does it for you. So if the existing service exists, then just use that. Okay, the next thing you're going to notice is there's no packages under some of these services. So all we've done here is told the system which services we offer. We haven't told it the pricing yet or any of that other information. So the next step, we're going to get into that. Okay, so step 3, we're going to create packages. Packages basically allow you to price your services to customers. So you can include one service or multiple service inside of the package. And like I said earlier, each of your services are tied to your parts. So I'm going to go into this in detail. To find that package area, you're going to go to your Operation Setup tab again. And at the top right here, you're going to see Packages. So when you click to Packages, you're going to see all the packages you have here for your shop. Now yours may be empty right now, but I'm going to show you how to create these packages. So let's start with a very basic, simple package. To make a new package, I'm going to click Add New Package. First, we're going to set the name of the package. So for example, let's do a windshield chip repair. Very simple. Now, we still need to tell the system which services are we going to offer within this package. So if I scroll down here, you're going to see I have to choose the service I want to offer. And in this case, it's going to be a custom service. So I'm going to go custom. I'm going to select windshield chip repair. So now I've said this is the name of the package. That is the service I'm going to complete. In this case, I don't need to link it to a part type because I don't really need any parts for this service. And I don't have any custom pricing stuff I want to get into yet. And we're going to get into that more in a second. So for now, I just want to offer a windshield chip repair. And I want to offer it for, let's say, $40 every single time. That's my base price. That's it. No tax exemption required for me here. This package recommendation frequency, this is more for oil changes when you want a customer to know how often to come back for this service. And this is what's going to show up on the sticker that outputs for the oil change. So I'm going to ignore that for now, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so you'll see here, there's my windshield chip repair package. I just created a package where I'm going to charge my customer $40 when they buy this windshield chip repair package. And in that package, it's very simple. We're just going to complete the windshield chip repair. That's it. That's a basic package. Okay, now let's get into something a bit more complicated. So let's make a package for cabin air filters. I'm going to do cabin air filter. That's my package name. And of course, you can name this however you like. So come up with a consistent naming convention for your package names and use that. I'm going to scroll down now and say, okay, which services are included in my cabin air filter package? So it's going to be, oh, wrong one. I need to go to air filter. So there's my service, cabin air filter remove and replace. And I'm going to select that. So now the system knows we are going to complete a cabin air filters remove and replace service within this package. Now, if I wanted to only charge, let's say, $40 every time we do a cabin air filter, I would put $40 here, and the system would just charge $40 every single time. That's nice and simple. However, in a lot of cases, you're going to want to charge a different amount depending on which cabin air filter you're using. So in that case, what you're going to do is put the base price back to 0, and we're going to use these pricing badges to charge a variable amount depending on which filter we choose to use. So I'm going to add a pricing badge, and you're going to see there's a bunch of different options here, but just for simplicity, the one we're going to use here is very simple. It's just called retail. We're going to charge the retail of the part we're using. I'm going to hit save, and that's it. Now, what this is going to do is the price that is set on the inventory item, your cabin air filter inventory item, whatever the retail is there, that retail amount will get added to this package. So it's going to look a bit funny because you're going to see right now my package total is only $0. But what will happen is when you add a part, it'll automatically change the price to the retail amount of that filter. Okay, so I'm going to hit save on this. Okay, and there's my cabin air filter package. It looks strange that it's only $0, but you'll see later on when we go to process an order and we add the filter charge will show up and that will add to the package price. Okay, so let's create a more complicated package. Oil change packages are probably the most complicated you'll create. So let's do one of those. I'm going to create a new package. I'm going to call this one synthetic oil change. Now make sure that your titles are very descriptive. You don't want to just write synthetic. You want to make sure you put synthetic oil change, be very clear about what you're offering the customer, because this package title, that's what's going to show up on the invoice. So that's what your customer is going to see beside the price that they pay. So make sure it's descriptive and clear with what you're providing your customers. Okay, now within this service, within this package, I'm going to include two services. So I'm going to go down here to my service type section, and I'm going to go to lubrication system, and these are the services I want to offer. Now, if you don't know where your services are, it's okay to click around and try to find your services. I know they're in lubrication system in this case, so I'm going to click to it. And these are the services that I want to provide to my customer. I want to change the oil and I want to change the filter. So I'm going to select both of them. Okay. And now I'm going to set the base price for this service. So my regular synthetic oil change is going to be $89. Now, if I just save this package and leave it as is, it's a simple package and I charge $89 for any synthetic oil change that I ever process. Very simple. We know in a lot of cases that's not what you want to do though. So if you want to charge overages for larger engines, or you want to charge extra for more premium filters that you use, you can do that here using pricing badges. So for example, I want to charge more if the vehicle is over 5 quarts. So beside engine oil drain and refill, I'm going to add a pricing badge to the service. And in this case, the badge I'm going to use is going to be the overage badge. There's a bunch of other ones in here. You can go through and each of them has a description on how they work. And your onboarding specialist can also help you walk through your unique pricing scenarios, but this is the most standard one. So I want to use the overage badge. And then what I want to do is say how many quarts are included for free in the package, and at what point should the system start to charge the overage. So in this case, I want to include 5 quarts for free, and then I want the overage price to start applying. And I'm going to hit save. Okay, now what's important to note is the overage price that's going to apply is based on the inventory item itself. So if you have an oil and the retail price is $2 per quart, that's going to be the price per quart that will start to apply once you are over the 5 quarts that are included for free within this package. Okay, so that's set now. The second thing I want to do is for my filters. So for regular filters, for my cheaper filters, I want to include it for free in the package so there will not be an overage charge. However, if someone uses a more premium filter, I want to charge extra for that. So to do that, I'm going to add a pricing badge. And now I have the option. I can charge the retail amount of that filter. I could charge the cost amount on that filter. I could charge a custom amount. There's a bunch of different things you can do here, but the most standard is to charge the retail amount. So I'm going to hit save on that. Now, what would happen here is this retail amount right now would be applied to any inventory item that I put here. So any filter I add to this order, it's going to charge the retail amount. But we know we don't want that. We know that basic, the more standard filters are included for free in this package. So I only want the retail amount to be charged on premium filters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a badge tag instead. Sorry, I'm going to apply a tag instead. And I have a bunch of existing tags here. And these tags can be customized, name them whatever you want, and put them on whatever inventory items you want. Simply put, what tags are doing is you're basically telling the package system, here's a tag, and if an inventory item has this tag, I want you to do something special with the pricing. Then you take those tags and you put them on whichever inventory items you want. Okay, so for example here, you could create a new tag, but I'm going to choose one of my existing ones. I have, where is it in here? Let's go premium filter, and I'm going to hit save. So the system now knows I'm only going to charge the retail amount on the filters that are tagged as premium filters. Okay, now I know this might seem kind of complicated, seem like a lot of work to set up, but the reality is once you've set all this up one time, you never need to worry about this again. So you create your packages, you create your tagging, you and your technicians never need to worry about, oh, do I need to charge extra for this? Should I charge more quarts? Do I need to charge extra for this specific Fram filter, for example? The system is all set up. You simply add the right items, the items that or the parts that your customer wants, and you transact the order, and the system does all the pricing for you automatically. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at real quick is there's a couple, you can also add line items if you want to get more complex with these packages. So inside this package, I could also add an item as a disposal fee, for example, and I could charge $3. I could add labor fees, and you could go, the amount times 10, whatever. Oops. So you can add different line items, and you can make those line items tax exempt as well if you wanted to. So you can do some really complex things with the package. And again, your onboarding specialist can help you with this. Package creation is the more tricky part upon setup. So don't hesitate to give us a call and we'll help you out. Okay, if you scroll down a little bit, for my oil change package now, I do want to use my recommendation frequency. So in this case, let's say I want my oil change sticker to show a recommendation of every 3,000 miles. And let's say I also want to show, let's do a 6 months, whichever comes first. And I want to show viscosity on my sticker. So I'm going to set all that, and I'm going to hit save. And there we go. There's our synthetic oil change package. So if I click synthetic oil change package now, you'll see it opens up. There's my package, there's my services, there's the badging and the tags that we added. There's our recommendation frequency. And if I want to make any edits, I can simply click edit and go in and make any changes. The only thing you cannot edit at this point is the actual name of the package. So if you want to change the name, you can simply duplicate this package. So how I would do that is click synthetic oil change package, and here there's a button. You can make a copy of it, add a new name, sample name, hit continue, and you'll see there's the sample name, there's your package, it fully copied everything over, and then you can just delete the old one. Okay, so that's package creation. In step 4, we're going to set your inspections and inspection groups. So same thing as before, we're going to go back to operation setup. Then we're going to go to the top here and select inspections. Now, inspections and inspection groups are very similar to services and packages. What I mean by that is basically with inspections, you tell the system all the inspections you offer or potentially offer, and then we're going to create these nice groupings so that you can offer those inspections in the groups that you offer. So what that means is if you just have one standard inspection list that you always do, then you're going to create one inspection group, you're going to offer the same inspections every time, and it's pretty straightforward. However, if you wanted to, you could make an inspection group for cars versus a different inspection group for trucks. Or you could have a special inspection group for a specific fleet if they require you to do a different set of inspections. So again, this is all very customizable. You can set it up however you offer, or however your shop operates. So let's get into it. So to add inspections, it's pretty straightforward. Here you're going to see my list of inspections, but to add a new one, I'm going to click add inspection. And similar to before, we're going to search the inspection we want to offer. So let's do a cabin air filter inspect. Now you're going to see the services as well. We don't want to select those. We definitely want to select inspections here. So I'm going to select cabin air filter inspect, and I'm going to save that. Okay, let's do some fluid inspections. So we'll see here, there's our differential fluid level if you wanted to add that. Parking brake, you can add that. and hit save. So you can go through that list, add whatever inspections you want to offer. Now, how about custom inspection? So if there's something you don't see in the list, you can create a custom inspection, just like we did for services. So I'm going to hit add inspections. Now let's say, for example, you had a line item where you want to like double check the seal on your filter. So I'm going to type that in. Now, of course, I'm typing this in and there's not going to be a setting for that. So I'm going to create a custom inspection. Now, when I create a custom inspection, these are some of the other ones I've created in the past just for fun. But if I scroll down, I'm going to add a new custom inspection, and you can name it whatever you want. So this, I'm going to put double check filter seal, and you can add a description here if you want. Make sure nothing is leaking. Of course, the description is optional, so you don't have to type that if you don't want to. And I'm going to hit save. Okay, so you'll see here are my inspections by regular categories. And then you're also going to see here are my custom ones. So I have a bunch of stuff in here. There's the one I just created, double check filter seal, make sure nothing is leaking. Okay, so those are my inspections. Now what I want to do is I want to group them together and make it very simple for my technicians to say, here's the list of inspections. These are my options as I check through them to make sure we don't forget anything. So I'm going to go to inspection groups next. And you're going to see I already have a complimentary checklist, but I'm going to create a new one just so you can see how it's done. In my new group, I'm going to call this, you can call it whatever you want. I'll call it like my 8-point inspection list. You can add a description if you want to. And then we're going to add all the inspections I'm going to offer inside this list. So for simplicity, I'm going to make it a 4-point inspection list. I'm going to add some inspections. I'm going to check the air filter. I'll check the battery. I'll do this custom one that I just added. And sure, let's check the wiper blades as well. So I'm going to hit save. Now you're going to see inside my 4-point inspection group, I have these 4 inspections I'm going to complete. What's really cool now is I can customize what I want my technicians to be able to add to that list. So for all these, I definitely want them to be able to write notes. So I'm going to add the notes section to each of those. And I want to have checkboxes as well. So let's go add a checkbox for the air filter. Now what this is going to do is you can customize these little checkboxes so that they show up every time, and your technicians don't even have to type. They can just select the checkbox. So air filter, I'm going to type one that says OK, and I'll make that green. I'll add another checkbox that says needs replacement, and I'll make that yellow. Oopsies. And then I can add another one, make it red, and say urgently replace. Again, you can name these whatever you want. You can color code them however you like. This is just what I'm doing for now. If I scroll down, you can do the same thing for battery. You can do the same thing for all of these. It's fully up to you. So let's do one more for battery as an example. I'll say looks good, and I'll make that green, and I'll add another check item saying, I don't know, this potentially faulty, make it yellow. Okay, I'll hit save group. And you'll see now I have my 4-point inspection list and I have my complimentary checklist. That's the other one I had before. So let's take a peek at what this looks like now. Okay, so now we've jumped to an order, and I just want to show you what that inspection list will look like on an order. Here's an order. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail right now, but if we scroll down a bit, here's my inspection list. And this is where the technician can add/edit results. So if I click there, this is where the technician would go through and make the selection based on the inspections. So again, as you saw earlier, this is fully customizable. Each line item is customizable as well as these tags. So I can say, this looks good, this looks good. Again, we didn't configure all the checkboxes here, but I can add notes. And when I hit save, you're gonna see those inspections show up on the order like so. Okay, so that's the basics of setting up your inspections. In our final step, step 5, we're going to set your inventory. So to find your inventory section, you're going to go to the left-hand navigation, click on your inventory tab, and that'll bring you here. So you're going to see at first, you're not going to have much stuff here. You might have a few sample inventory items. So let's take a look at a few of these items before we load anything new. For example, here's an engine oil filter. You can see the part number. Here's the brand, the quantity that you have on hand, your cost and retail, how much you've sold in the last 30 days, and then some information as to when it was last edited. So to see more info on this part, I can click the part number. That brings me to this page. You'll see a bit more details on the part. And if you scroll down, you can see a history of every transaction this part's had. So every sale you've had, adjustment, or restock will all be here, as well as the user that made that change. Okay, so let's go back to the inventory tab. And here's how you add inventory items. You're going to click on Part Manager. And here now you're going to search for a part number. Now, when you don't have the part number, you haven't loaded any new parts yet, nothing's going to come up. Once you've loaded your part number, when you search for a part, it'll come up and you'll see all the information on it. So for example, we're going to load a new part. We're going to load a filter here, VO106, hit enter. It says part does not exist, which makes sense because we've never loaded this part yet. I'm going to add part. Now what's happening is this part number is being looked up in our part catalog partner, and it found the filter, which is great. So here is the VO106 filter. We know there's a picture there. We know it's an engine oil filter, which is great. Now we need to set a few of the basic pieces of information. So we need to tell the system, how are we going to measure the quantity of this item? Are we going to measure in eaches or in volume? Basically, all the filters, anything you measure at an item basis is going to be measured in eaches, and only things that are measured in volume or quarts is when you would use the second option. So I'm going to select eaches here. Really, the volumes one is mainly just for oil. I'm going to select eaches. The quantity is how much you have on hand, so I'm going to say I have 5 of these items on hand. You can type in your supplier if you like. You'll see the brand is all automatically populated, but you can edit that if you like, and you can add a description for the item. Lastly here, you can add costs. So I'm going to do a cost of $1 and my retail of $2. Cost is what you buy it for, retail is what you sell it for. And lastly here are tags. So if you recall from earlier, this is where if you wanted to, you could set tags on this item. If I felt like this was a premium filter, and I wanted to charge more for it or apply the pricing variance that I explained earlier, I can apply the tag here. If you don't apply the tag here, or you forget, or you make a mistake somewhere, you can always edit this later on, so don't worry. So I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to go back to my inventory page, and you'll see there is my engine oil filter VO106, which is great. Now, one really important thing to note is this little green link icon. So that green link icon means that that part number is linked to the part catalog, which is great. It means that whenever a car comes into my operation, the system is going to look up that all my oil filters, and it's going to tell me, does this oil filter, is it compatible based on the part catalog information? So because that link is green, that lookup is going to happen. If you don't have a green link and you have a gray link, that means the part was not linked for some reason. So again, talk to your Droptop onboarding specialist. They'll walk you through this and help you troubleshoot if you can't link a part, but most of the time it links pretty easily. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to load oil. Oil is a little bit different than regular parts, so the way we just went through that is how you're going to load 95% of your parts, but when you load oil, it can sometimes be a bit different. So I'm going to go here, Part Manager. Now, the key identifier in our system is part numbers. So even though oil doesn't truly have part numbers, we kind of create our own unique part number. Really, you're just making a unique identifier for your oil. So the convention I like to use, but of course you can do it differently if you like, is I like to do viscosity. So let's say 5W30. Then I like to do a short form for whether it's synthetic or not. So let's go syn. And then I like to add the brand name. And you can do dashes in here as well. So maybe I'll do 5W30 syn dash maybe mobile 1 M1. Okay. Now you can customize this. The key thing is no spaces are allowed in the part number, so you cannot use a space. And I'm going to hit enter on this. Now what's going to happen is the system is looking up that part number. We know this part number doesn't exist. We just made it up. So we're going to add the part. And when we go to add it, it's going to say, hey, we couldn't find a part. There's no part details found for this. So basically, you got to go ahead and add your own part, and it's your own custom part, which is okay. So for oil, that's no problem. So we're going to go in here. We're going to set the part type, which we know in this case is going to be engine oil. So I'm going to search engine oil, and you'll see all the preset part types come up. So I'm going to say this is engine oil. Quantity measurement. I know in this case I want to measure in volume or quarts, so I'm going to select that. And now you'll notice a new field. Because we're loading in engine oil, it knows to ask us for viscosity. So that's super, super important that you enter a matching viscosity to match your part number. This field here is what the system will use to see if the viscosity is right for the vehicle. It won't use this part. This is the important field. So make sure that this 5W30 matches what you put up here. Okay? So just always make sure this field is accurate. That's super important. Next, I'm going to add my quantity. So I'll say I have, say I got 50 quarts. You can add your supplier info and your brand. So I'll put Mobile One. You can add a description if you like, and then again, your cost in retail. So my cost, what am I paying per quart? And what is my retail per quart that I want to charge? Now remember, when you create your packages, if your package includes 5 quarts for free or as part of the base price, it won't charge the extra quart amount. This amount will only be used, if you have the overage badge, so over 5 quarts, for example. Okay, so it won't always charge that amount. Your package pricing is going to help determine when you charge and when you don't charge per quart. Lastly, if you wanted to add some tags, you could, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so go back to the inventory tab. Now, one thing that's really important, you're going to notice here, you're going to say, what the heck, why is the filter, or why is the gray link there? Why is this not linked to the part catalog? For oils, it's okay. Because oils are based on viscosity, it's okay that they're not linked to the part catalog. For the rest of your parts, you definitely want to see that green link. Okay, so that's how you load inventory items into the system. Go ahead, load all your inventory items in, and again, if you run into any problems, you can definitely work with an onboarding specialist who can help you. Okay, so that's the basic of setting your trial up. So those 5 steps, if you followed those, your trial should be pretty well set so that you can at least start to practice, do some transactional orders, and play around with the system a little bit more. Check out the other videos for sure to see how to process an order and to learn more about how the system works. And definitely reach out to us if you have any questions.